Hi guys, how are you? It's been a while since I've seen you, since it's Easter break started and now it's over. I hope you guys had a great Easter. I know we did. It was nice to have a little over a week off. Well, last night I gave the assignment of looking up some insects, bees, dragonflies, do a little research, and find about 5 that you will draw for me and do some sketches of. So you should have done some sketches last night. And today, what we're going to do is take those same drawings and you're going to create a layout on another page. And do your drawings again, but a little bit more detail, and we're going to go into some pen techniques. So what I did was I started my drawings. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, and I pulled mine all up like I ask you guys to on my Mac. So you see the Mac has all my illustrations. And they are all photographs. I don't want you referencing anyone else's artwork. So that's very important. What we're going to use today's pencil, I did a dragonfly, which I just did a real quick outline. I did a green beetle, an ant, a bee, and we are going to draw next. I have a butterfly that I wanted to draw, and I think I'll make my butterfly a little smaller. But we'll start again. Most of our insect shapes, they have ovals, short, long, round, but it's a lot of circles, especially for the bodies, like long, oval, the butterfly body. And for a butterfly, this one has, inside its big wing, has these 2 wings, which have this really pretty, like almost like a heart shape here in red. And then I'm going to go out and create the rest of the wing. So it comes from here in the body. And a little uneven edge for the wing. Symmetrically go to the other side as best you can. You can adjust later, it's just the pencil part, so we can erase. And there are 2 more. Wings down here. They have this type of a shape, almost like a teardrop at the bottom. And the good thing about doing all your sketches first in pencil is if you weren't sure of the symmetry, you're like, ah, that's not really that good. You don't have to necessarily erase, just adapt, adjust the drawing. And the side still needs to be a little bit bigger. And then when I go into it with pen, I can fix it. And then I can go back and erase later. So this looks pretty good for just a quick sketch for my butterfly. And of course there'll be some antenna in there. So I have 5. Here are my Microline pens. So there's many different sizes. You can have a brush, you can have a line, 8, 5, 3, 2, 1. 1 being really, really small, 0.005 really, really small, and 0.0003 really small. And I will show you what they are. So this would be a 0.03. That is super small. Put that one back in. Here is a 0.005, slightly bigger. Here is 0.1, a little thicker, and 0.2, that one's a little thicker, 0.3, again, 5, a little heavier, and we have an 8, which is pretty much the biggest. An 8 probably almost is just like a Sharpie. So if you don't have a pen set like this to work with, Sharpies are wonderful. So this is what my Sharpie line was going to be, which I think a Sharpie is probably pretty equal to about a 5 or an 8, depending upon how hard you push down. You can have an 8 if you use the tip a little thinner. So you have a little bit more variation because this is a little bit more flexible on a Sharpie. So we have the Sharpie here. That's an option. And then here's 2 more fun brushes. One is a liner. So this is a liner. It's going to give you a thick line or a thick to thin line. Okay. And then lastly, we have a brush. And the brush is kind of fun. So you can do, with the brush, you could do really thin with the brush, or you can create brush strokes. That's what the brush does, which is pretty cool. So this is a nice set, not too expensive. Got it on Amazon for 15 bucks. I think that's a really good price. And there you have it. So that's where we are. We have those. Next, what I want you guys to do is, I'm going to start off, I think I might go with 5 and 8 since I did, that's those 2. I'm going to put these right here. Since I went with some bigger illustrations, I think what I'll do is do that. And next, we're going to create some circles here, and I'm going to show you really quickly how to do a couple different pen and ink styles. So we're going to do pencil first, then pen and ink, and then we're going to go from there, and we'll be adding color later. But just for today, let's get through our original sketches and at least the outline part of the drawing, and get some of 1 or 2 maybe completely drawn in. So that's our goal for today's class. So what I'm going to do is take my circle template, and I'm going to make 1, 2, 3. If you do not have a circle template at home, change works amazing. So you can get a penny, a dime, a quarter, a nickel, whatever you have, and we will be tracing shapes. And I want you to do them in 3s, please. Okay, over here, we will do 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to do just a couple over here too. My number 5. I kind of went off the page there. And 1 right here. Okay, very good. So the circles are for practicing some pen and ink techniques. So for that, we're going to start off here with, let's go hatching. Hatching. So hatching is in one direction. I'm going to draw an arrow, and your lines all go in the same direction. I'm going to do these medium. And then you're going to go to a little bit more, tighter spacing, which we will call, this one actually medium, that one will be light. And this is like value, so that's like a light, a medium. And then when you come to the next one, we're going to put our lines really close together. And this is going to give us a darker value. And I can go back here, keep adding lines in the same direction, and essentially you get a really dark value. And the more lines you add, the darker. You could probably almost get it to a black, but you want to still see the lines, so I did that. And this would be none, so none. And this is heavy or dark, medium, and light. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is add one over here, put one here. I'll do a small one so I don't have to do so many. I'll do this. And what I'm going to show you with hatching is, here's my hatching circle. We are going to create shape and light. So if our light source is a light bulb coming this way, okay? Then this side is going to be our highlight right here. So I'm going to take my lines all in the same direction. And I'm not going to take them all the way to the other side. We're going to build up and create a shape that feels round. So here is going to be barely any because that's where the light is hitting. So that's the lightest side. Take a couple more here so that this circle looks like there's almost like a circle in here. And I want to go back, darker, darker, closer together, closer together. Doing this quick, so I actually am going out of the lines a little bit, but I'm not worrying about that because this is just a quick demo. And I want you kind of, if you were doing it in your project, you're going to want to be neater than this and not go outside of the lines like I'm doing there. But for demo purposes, we have created a dark value. I'm going to just clean up my edge here. So this shape starts to look round and there's a highlight because the light is hitting it. And all objects do that. So when you're drawing in the illustration of a dragonfly, if the light's coming here, you're going to have darker on this side, lighter on this side, highlight on this side. So we'll try in these illustrations to keep the light coming from this direction, okay? Next, what you'll learn is hatching. So I'm going to come over here, but it's with a cross, so it's called cross hatching. All right, cross hatching is essentially the same thing. I am going to do one as a demo, and then you will be filling them in lighter and darker later. So we'll do the first one. I'll do as medium for cross hatching, and you'll do a lighter and a darker. So this would be our medium. We want to keep them spaced about that far apart, continually all the way around. And then cross hatching is your hatching goes here in this direction, and then the next hatching goes this way. So you kind of have to shift your body a little bit, and you're going to run 90-degree angle the opposite direction. That is hatching. And to make the hatching even darker, if you're building and building and building, you can actually go in with a direction, cutting the squares directly in half. So you'll go the opposite direction. And this will create even a darker hatching. So that is cross hatching, and also adding the extra to create depth. So I'd like you to try here a lighter value, light, this one's medium, and this one will be dark. So that's something you're going to work on for me. Next, I picked the little ones for stipple. So stipple is using lots and lots of dots. So I will do the middle one here, say medium. You're going to want to fill that with a ton of dots. And stippling is just polka dots, little dots all the way around. Okay, very good. So this would be a medium value. This is going to be your light value. And this will be your dark value, and I'll need you to practice those today. So from there, I'm going to go over and add one of these for stippling. We'll do about, let's say, right here. So if that is our stipple, here we are going to do the light source. There's light coming this way. So we're going to stipple on this side, and we're going to put them really, 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 really close together. Open them up in the middle value. And again, the light source is going to be here, so there's going to be dots around this edge all the way around. Tighter on the outsides. As you move in, they'll open up a little bit. On the shadow side, they'll get darker. And we are creating a shape that is going to start to look round and have form. So here's our little stipple shape. Darker, darker on the outside, so almost that they could be solid. So here we go with that. Lighter on that side. This one's going to go here. And if this was the case, we would have like a little stipple shadow. That's how you create a little bit of a shadow. Very good. So we have a stipple here. You'll practice light and dark for me. And here, I didn't do this over here, but for this one, our shadow is going to go this direction. And it's going to be longer. So underneath. When you do a shadow, it's lighter on the outside and it's darker the closer you get to the object. So I'll hatch in that direction and that creates my shadow there. Next, okay, so we have shape, shape, shape. Okay, how about we do like a random? So this is going to be a random. And a random is basically taking a shape of squiggly lines. So we're creating our circle with all these random lines. That's called random. So if I want to do random and I want to do random as a I'm shading with random. I'm going to do, again, it's going to be big open, a little darker on the outside, and then the random will get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter over here. More open. So even with random, you can create a shape that is round. There you go, random. So I think that's pretty good for today. You'll be using stippling, random, cross hatching, and hatching to work on all of your insects. So I'm gonna pull my reference up and we will get started. So I'm going to start with, let me go with the dragonfly. Okay, so the dragonfly here, because their eyes do look like they're almost like a hatch, we're gonna go with a hatch. And I'm gonna pull out a smaller one for his eyes. I'll do that in a 3. But again, keep in mind, you can be using a Sharpie or you can use a ballpoint black pen. If you have a black pen, if you don't have a black pen, get a blue pen. Hopefully you have a black because it would stick with the pen and ink technique in it looking like this. So if you have a black ballpoint pen, you can do all the same things I'm doing here. And the reason why I bring that up is because we all left school and we didn't have all of our supplies. We may not have all these supplies at home, so we're gonna make do with what we have. So if we were in school, I would have a pen set for you to be working with. And since we're not, you have to rely on what you have. So a Sharpie will do, or a pen. And I am going to just create like a little bit so he starts to have those eyes that look like they're hatched. And his head, my thought is, I'm trying to look at my reference and I can't see much. I'm gonna go with a random, like his head actually is almost hairy because insects do have like little hair on them. So I'm gonna do his head as random. And I want you to mix these techniques in with each one of your illustrations. You don't have to do one just in stippling, one in hatching, one in cross hatching. You can kind of use them to what works best for the body part that you're going to be working on. The legs are going to be more like a hatch because they're kind of hairy. So I am going to do more of straight lines and a little bit of a hatch. The antenna, that's pretty good there. We'll get here. And this is going to look a little more hairy, so I want you to take your time. And if you honestly, if you do not have a pen either, you can do this with a really pointy pencil and create, again, all the same techniques. It just will be flatter. It won't have as much dimension as the pen and ink. And here is our body. Now his wings actually come in here, so I'm just going to outline them real lightly. And they're translucent, so if my line isn't perfect, that's okay. When I take the eraser up, having a line that skips will make it look like they are translucent. It's not perfectly outlined, right? I'll take that into here. We're going to hatch his body a little bit. And remember, I'm saying my light source is coming. I'll draw my lamp with my light bulb, and my directions is where it's coming from. So this side of my, I'm going to cross hatch here, just hatch over here, cross hatch, do a little darker underneath the separation of his head to his body. And one other thing we can keep in mind when we're doing our hatching and cross hatching, sometimes when you do a cross hatch, I'll just take this down here, you can actually go, like if the body is round, you can also almost make like that type of a shape so it starts to feel round. It doesn't have to be like a perfect X. That'll create a shape, create roundness. Did that light and I left that line a little bit open so that it has more light on this side. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just doing hatching on the bottom. Okay, so if I want to go back to my illustration for the wing to look open on dragonflies, there is like actually a really dark area here. I'm going to kind of fill that in with some stippling. Change it up a little bit. And there's another one over here. Fill it with stippling. Very good. Okay, since these wings are translucent, but they just still have lines in them, this is the 0.3 I'm using. I want to keep using that so it looks as if it's very delicate. Here, go with stippling again, nice and light and open, and my lines are going to be a little broken up so it feels as if it is very sheer, see-through. Okay, so I feel that I could pretty much stop here on that one. I like him. He turned out pretty good. Let's go into next the ant. Now the ant's dark, so It's a black ant. I think with that, I'm going to go with the 8 so I can lay down some color really quickly. Light here. Okay, on this one, in this illustration, for instance, this one, the light comes this way. Okay, so I'm going to actually we're going to do hatching for this one. And I'm going to do hatching with a curve to start because his body is this curved nice shape here. I'm going to continue that this way. Okay. Cross hatch, a little bit of the curved hatch. Same thing here, he's got a section in here, we'll cross hatch that. He is pretty black on this side, so I'm going in there pretty dark. And this part of his body is a little bit lighter. It's got some browns into it, so we'll do this one. Again, cross hatch. Okay, and then comes his head, which is kind of looks like it almost. That is it, and he's got a big highlight here, so I'm going to go hatching. I'll hatch around the highlight and cross hatching. And by using this thicker pen, the number 8, I am able to go much faster, which is wonderful, especially because this is a demo. And there we go. So there is our black ant. So we have a black ant, we have our dragonfly, a bee, and a butterfly. So I'm going to go into doing our bumblebee. And maybe what I'll do with the bumblebee is where he is hairy. I'll do I was going to try and use random in here, but I don't know that I actually can. He's more furry than bees are a little hairy. So I'm going to go with his outside. We're going to create that insect hair on the outside. And then I'll work my way in. Okay, like that. He has darker eyes here. And his eyes are pretty black. So I'm going to do a random in there. Almost shade it in, but do random circles. And then they have kind of more of a, their antennas are a little crisper. And their legs are definitely hairy. If you've ever seen them in the back, they carry all the pollen back there. So we're gonna so the same thing what we did with these and these. You have the round shape, so we had to create a light highlight coming from, I'm going to have the highlight kind of more symmetrical and have it come this way down from the top, so the lighting will be similar on each. And again, the wings, you saw how I did the wings, and they are just real light. Keep it nice and airy. They can skip a little. Make a little darker where it attaches. And I think that's pretty good for today. You've seen how to create the black, a dark ant with a brighter highlight. You've learned how to do all the hatching, cross hatching, stippling, random. I did random in the head over here. And I did not actually do stipple. So let me put some stipple in here. I will stipple this part. I'll do, for this part here, I'm going to do the hatching where it is dark this way because it goes right into where it's more like the hair, and that's here. But I could also add a little bit of stipple to create shape. So I'll mix the stipple in. And with this one here, I'm going to and there's hair off the side. And we can do stipple here. So I'm blending some of the techniques. I'm going to stop here. I think that that's pretty good for today. And I will finish my bee, my butterfly. I have a beetle over here, which I actually practiced with. Voila, I have a beetle done. I did the beetle a little earlier, and I practiced doing my techniques as I showed you, and I added a little bit of green and yellow. And what I did here is I did the same technique with the colored Sharpies to add color. So I did go and do hatching and cross hatching, as you can see here. But I used two different greens, and I added yellow. So there you go, and I did the head in oranges and reds, and there's my green beetle with the little yellow dots. And we did those with, again, Sharpies. So if you have Sharpies, great. When we meet back again for our next meeting, we're gonna do a little bit of pen work. We're gonna use some colored pencils. If you have crowns, we'll be bringing those in. I'm not sure, again, your materials at home because we're not at school right now. So we are gonna work with what you have. And markers, highlighters work. Hopefully you have a little bit of all of the basic necessities to get us through this project. And even if you don't, we can even use eyeshadow. There's lots of different ways. Eyeshadow can be used and applied like it's a pastel. There's lots of different options. Be creative, use your imagination, and we will get through these challenging times being at home, doing all of our art and schoolwork with not necessarily all the materials that we need, but everyone can draw, everyone has a pencil, everyone has a pen. So voila, pen work. That's what you guys are gonna do. Thank you very much, and we will touch base in the next lesson with color. Bye.